the 1994 Eveready Derby lined up, and they race away. Get a position early, jockeys, will be the first call. Colonel Colt is a little bit slowly away, and it's a stiff uphill climb. Mr. Bailey's is one of the first to show. Plato's Republic, one of the rank outsiders, is way out the back. Mr. Bailey is just leading, with Golden Ball and Chica Weeka showing prominently, and on the inside is Party Season. They're coming up this stiff hill. It's on the collar all the way through the first half mile. Mr. Bailey's leading again. Mr. Bailey's Golden Ball with also pace is the Flying Phantom. Party Season's bang there. Linney Head is holding a very good position. Erhaab's are down the pack. Chica Weeka is in the firing line. Camusine and Leicester Piggott hold a good pitch, and they've gone through the first 3 furlongs. Plato's Republic is outpaced and tailed off. They go through the first half mile, and it's Mr. Bailey's in the lead from Chica Weeka and the Flying Phantom. They're the leading 3. Then comes Camusine, way anchor in a good position. On the outside, Broadway Flyer, perfectly paced. Party Season just off the pace. Waiting is travelling well. Foyer is in a good position. Erhaab is some way down the pack, and already getting reminders is Colonel Colt. They're at the top of the hill, and this Mr. Bailey striding on the outside of Chica Weeka as they pass the 7 furlong marker. Camusine, Leicester Piggott in a perfect position the inside. Way anchors well placed. Wishing's there with chances. And we had a faller there, and they've gone through the first half mile, and it's Mr. Bailey's in the lead. Mr. Bailey's from Way Anchor, then Chica Weeka, then Camusine, followed by Waiting and Wishing, and Linney Head, and behind that one comes Jabberwoot, and on the inside King's Theatre, and they begin the descent at Tattenham Corner, and it's Mr. Bailey's doing the work. Mr. Bailey's Pencada on the outside. Erhaab with a lot of running to do. Sunshack is out the back, and they're coming round Tattenham Corner, and Mr. Bailey's is clear of his field, clear by 4 or 5 lengths now as they head for home. Colonel Colt's coming with a run, and then Camusine's there with chances. Linney Head with a run, King's Theatre with a run. They're past the 3, and Mr. Bailey's is clear by 6 lengths to the north. The white cap is King's Theatre, spotted cap the outside is Colonel Collins, and they come down to the 2 furlong marker, and Mr. Bailey's in the lead, clear by 3. Colonel Collins, the spotted cap, white cap is King's Theatre, is between these 3 now. Mr. Bailey's has come back to the field. Erhaab is picking up well, but it's King's Theatre that goes to the line. King's Theatre from Colonel Collins. Here comes the favourite Erhaab with a devastating burst on the outside as they race up towards the line. Erhaab and Willie Carson lifts the derby. Erhaab, King's Theatre, Colonel Collins, Mr. Bailey's Camusine, Pencada, then came Golden Ball and Jabberwoot, Star Prediction, Iomio, then Chocolate de Maru go followed by Way Anchor and Wishing, and the field trailed back to Broadway Fly, who was one of the last. Darkwood Bay, who was at the back. Colonel Colt and Plato's Republic were the back markers, and so the 7-2 favourite has won this, the 1994 Eveready Derby. An amazing late thrust and burst by horse number 7, Erhaab, owned by Hamdan Al Maktoum, ridden by Willie Carson, for whom this is the 4th Derby win, and a remarkable burst of acceleration. Second horse home is number 14, King's Theatre. Third is number 4, Colonel Collins, and the 4th horse home is number 16, Mr. Bailey's. And the faller in the race was number 8, Foyer. The horse is all right. The winner then of this, the Eveready Derby, it's a winner for number 7, Erhaab. Hamdan Al Maktoum has done it again. This one trained by John Dunlop, as I say, ridden by Willie Carson, his 26th Derby ride, his 4th Derby win. The stripe cap there on the left, coming with that late burst. Colonel Collins, the spotted cap, has run his race. King's Theatre has run his race, and on the inside, Mr. Bailey's has run his heart out for the north. But in the end, it's the horse that beat him in the home overs down to Erhaab, who has come from way down off the pace to come and seize, and like the mighty Shergar's got his tongue hanging out inside the final furlong. We can confidently say he's got them all licked. This is Erhaab, and a great win for Chief's Crown, his sire. And this one, of course, homebred.
Well, we're down at, or I say up, we should say, at the point where Willie Ryan came off Foyer. I'm sorry, we don't know quite yet why that happened, whether the saddle iron went, or whether he clipped the heels of the horse in front of him, but news of him later. Let's hope it's not too serious. Well, fantastic moment for Willie Carson. Rising 52, one of 3 grandfathers in the race. He may well be one of the oldest, but he's certainly one of the fittest. John, he's ridden Derby winners before, Troy, Nashwan. Troy came from a long way back. He might have ridden even better horses than this, but he's certainly never had as exciting or hair-raising a ride.
Well, he'll never come from that far back again, ever. I mean, it was a really tenacious piece of riding from Willie, because as we looked almost before they got to the top of the hill, after they'd gone 2 furlongs, he was just rowing along and struggling to keep a position. He was a long way back there. He had a lot of traffic in front of him, and even as they ran down the hill, well, I should think Mr. Bailey's must have been 8, almost 10 lengths ahead of the field with just 3 to run. Then he was chased there by Colonel Collins and King's Theatre. Willie still wasn't even in the same county at that stage. And the one thing about Willie Carson, whenever you back him, you always get a run for your money. He never gives up until he's past the winning line. And he certainly didn't do that this afternoon. And there must have been a lot of that race where he thought he had absolutely no chance of winning.
The steward's inquiry has been called. Now, of course, the public are reminded to retain all betting slips until the result of that inquiry has been announced. Of course, we'll unravel the reasons as to why that's taken place, and we don't know at this moment in time that it doesn't involve Erhaab, who certainly steered circuitous, I suppose, to be the wrong route, but a zigzag route at various stages, off the bridle in the middle of the field, round the inside, turning for home, stuck on the rail, switched out. He may even have drifted in slightly as he made his final burst, but looking at the head-on shot we saw just a moment or two ago, I don't think he affected anything adversely.
Steward's inquiry sure to be into the reason that Foyer tripped halfway through the race.
This little black horse by Chief's Crown, a delighted Prince Hamdan Al Maktoum, or Sheikh Hamdan Al Maktoum, I should say, leading his charge into the winner's enclosure. He's done it all before. He may have done it 3 times before, but it's still the one and only Derby. Still putting the pass.
Somebody calling down from the balcony, and Willie just sitting there